What's going on, DGen Nation? Kenny Kim here, bringing you another Fantasy Golf Degenerates podcast this week for the Amex. As usual, I'm here with everybody's favorite Canadian, Tyler Tamboline. Tyler, what is up, my friend?
Hey, what's going on? Your boy Corey Connors did not get the job done for you.
He did not.
Or Papa Tambo. He was in the one and done. He was happy he made the cut, though. We'll talk about all that and more when we get into it. We're going to recap things. As always, we'll get through the rest of the show with you guys. Thank you guys for last week. All the great support. We had more comments. I think we had 10 times the amount of comments from the previous year, a bunch more likes, all that. So if you guys can help support the show, like the video, subscribe, and leave the comment of your winner for this week in the bottom after you watch, and put your DraftKings name, your X name, whatever you want on there. But before we get into this, I want to remind everyone very quickly, this show is brought to you and presented by ShipItNation.com. PGA only packages on sale now. This is the last week to get the introductory pricing plus the additional 10% off. Use that code Mayo. Get in there. Kenny, it was a wild sweat for me. I'm not sure how your Sunday went, but we can go right back and rewind to Thursday probably. Joel Damon letting the whole world in with the missed 4-footer and just how the tables can turn. But what did you think of the event? I know last week you weren't in love with it. You said it was missing a little something. Anything different for you this week?
I mean, the cut sweat was huge because I had like 27 guys at -2. So, you know, like that cut sweat basically made or broke my weekend. And so while I was, going in, I thought, I was in it. Even though, the coverage ended and you had to freaking do it on Shot Tracker on your phone, which sucks. But I thought the tournament, it actually felt like a PGA tournament this time. I think last week was just because maybe it was because it's supposed to be an elevated event, right? The Century. Supposed to be an elevated event, and it didn't feel like it had the star power. This full field event, you're going to have scrubs, you're going to have some stars. Seemed like a normal event. I had no problems. I enjoyed watching it. I watched it basically the whole weekend. It was some good golf being played. Lots of guys tight. I think after Friday, every golfer was within 7 strokes of the leader. So really, really bunched up. I mean, at one point on the bag 9, 5 guys were tied for the lead. I thought it was a pretty exciting tournament. Good for Grayson Murray. Everyone knows his story. Sort of a pedo. Sort of an alcoholic, trying to hit on 17, 16-year-old girls. Hopefully he's done with that because his girlfriend looked pretty hot.
Fiance, I think he said.
What's up?
I think he said fiance now. He's excited to tell us about that, yeah.
She was pretty smoking, so I don't think he needs to deal with 16, 17-year-olds no more. I think he's all right. And I guess he quit drinking, too. So 8 months ago, when Rory was talking shit about him, saying, when they were in the players' meeting and, Rory said something to the effect of, Grayson, you got to play better to be able to talk this shit you're talking. He basically quit drinking right around that time. He realized he had a problem. 8 months later, he wins. I think this is his second win. Didn't he win like 5-6 years ago?
No, he won as a rookie on tour, right?
Yeah. So I think this is his second win. Now he's back on tour with his full card, 2 to 3 years. He'll have it. It's the age of rehabilitation. I mean, you got Chris Kirk, former alcoholic, went to AA, cleaned himself up, won Century. You got Grayson, alcoholic, cleaned himself up, won the Sony. I just read an article today. Harrison Endicott quit drinking recently. Could he make it 3 for 3? Could Harrison Endicott make it 3 for 3 on the no drinking crew? For the beginning of the year, he's 400-1, guys.
Line bet.
400-1, 500-1. Just put the bet in. Just put the bet in, people. You know what? I was in such a rush to get started because I was late. I got home from work. That's why I'm wearing, I'm looking like a Jedi up here with the hoodie. I didn't do my hair. So, Tambo, you talk about the event while I fix my lighting.
Yeah, go ahead. I think there is some big irony. I'll tell my story first, then I'll save the irony for the end. Obviously, Grayson getting the job done. Good for him. Crazy playoff, crazy ending, but I'll tell the story quickly. I told Kenny pre-show I had one. Had a big sweat this weekend. King of the Desert, round 1. For those that don't know, it was a tournament on DraftKings. You had to qualify for it. It's 150 entries got in. Some had 10 max, like Utica, and those guys had 10 entries into it that they could have into it. So again, grateful just to be there. It was awesome to be in the tournament, have the sweat. The way it worked, 50 people move on. So 50th, the same as first place this past week. What had happened was, had a great lineup in there. It was solid. I was one of only like 12 lineups that were on par to be 6 of 6 until the cut line went to 2 under again, and Damon missed the 4-footer or whatever. Everyone that had, like, there was going to be 5 of 6s galore, but there was a ton of 4 of 6s that had 2-2 guys. And so all of a sudden the field went from 8% or 9%, whatever it was, maybe even 10%. It was like just under 15 entries that would have been 6 of 6 to almost 60% 6 of 6. So it became a massive sweat over the weekend. Fast forward down. So a short 4-foot miss for Joel Damon. And I posted on Twitter today to her X, as we like to call it now, where you posted out. I said, it just comes full circle. I'm sitting in 54th place going into the playoff when I realize, and you got to be in the top 50 to move on, the only way I can move in is if somehow Grayson Murray wins this thing. If you remember the tee shots, it was very bad for Grayson Murray. Far
damn true.
Yeah. So there was that, and we'll talk about the Keegan thing in a second too, because it's literally the second worst rule in golf after the divot in the fairway. But here nor there, I tell my wife about this sweat. She's even into it with me and excited. Grayson knocks home this putt, completely insane putt to just get it, and she thinks we already get in. I said, no, sit back down. I said, that's just one thing. Benny Ann's still going to make this putt probably. It's like 3 or 4 feet. Like, we got to chill. That just guarantees the next playoff hole. And she's like, oh, shit. Like, what? She's like, I thought that meant we got into the next round. I was like, no, chill. And then I said, you know what? Benny Ann's going to miss this putt. It's going to be the turn of events of Joel Damon missing his 4-footer. It's going to come full circle. It's going to pop me in, pop others out, because they lose all their position placement points. One guy had Benny and Keegan that you lose 10 for both of them. Others had the one-offs, and it dropped me. It went from 54th to 48th. Obviously, Benny misses the putt. It sucked. I know good people out there had Benny and bets. Would have loved to see him get his first win too, but I couldn't in this scenario. And then also, I had the Keegan 60-1 ticket. So I was like, I'm torn, but this is worth much more in not just this week, but also what can happen moving forward. Can win up to $500K in the finals at the Waste Management, which I'll be there. So it's already going to be an awesome event. But there was just lots going on. That was just one of the craziest things ever that I've ever sweated out. And just to see it just fall back in. The Discord was talking to me too, saying like, oh, whatever. I said, Kenny, in DFS golf, you're Tiger Woods until you're out of it, right? You're just one-dimensional. You got to get this dub. And then you can turn into Ricky Fowler in a heartbeat and just be there for the high five. If I'm out of it, I'll cheer anybody on. I'll cheer whatever. Once I'm dead, I'm dead. But until I'm out of it, I'm Tiger Woods, head down. Let's get this W. And it ended up working out. So wild sweat. The irony I was going to tell you about quickly, Grayson Murray, part of that meeting you mentioned was Rory telling him to play better. On the same day, overseas, Rory plays worse, misses like what did he 3-putt from 5 feet himself? 2 feet?
No, 2 feet.
Yeah, I think he like 2 to 4 back and tap in, yeah.
And then hit the water on 18 to lose.
Well, he loses on this day. Grayson Murray goes up and bangs one home from downtown and gets the W. So I don't know, just a wild turn of events. Good for Grayson. Crazy finish. The Keegan thing, though, I still hate that rule. That rule is just the worst. Pops it off like the roof of this place and just the auto free lie. I don't like that a tournament can end on that.
I mean, there was crazy shit. I mean, you remember, who was it? Was it Kevin Yu? Hit his ball into the hospitality tent on 18.
Carl.
Nobody saw it.
Carl.
Crazy Carl. Was it Carl Yuan? Okay.
Carl Yuan or Juan.
Yuan. So he hits it. Yeah, those Chinese people, they all look alike. So, you know.
Degenerates.
Yeah. So he hits the ball into a freaking hospitality tent, maybe. Like, no one knows for sure. Nobody found the ball. No one saw the ball. And they gave him a free drop from the hospitality tent. Like, that was crazy to me. Like, how do you get a free drop when you don't even know where your ball is?
I was tilting that too because that dropped.
Because that changed a lot of shit.
Yeah, position placement points. Yeah.
Because what fucked me was I had Nick Taylor, right? So that shit fucked me a little bit. So Nick Taylor, I had him 80-1 plus to 8 places, each way last week. That was one of my bets on GovsCorner.com. I had a few more bets towards the end of the week, and I put it on Govs Corner, and that was on there. And so I'm sweating it. He ends up being tied for 7th with 3 guys. So I get like 75% of my placement money instead of 100. And if Juan gets a double there or bogey, we move up and we get the full place. I don't know how close it would have been to fifth place because I also re-upped on Nick Taylor after the first day at 200-1 with 5 spots each way. So at least I hit the Nick Taylor thing that covered like 75%, like 80% of my total bets for the week. So it wasn't that bad. DraftKings not great. I did 3 or 4. Lucas Glover missing 2 footers. So I was reading something like about the 2-footer miss. No, it was Rory. This was a Rory thing. Well, Rory missing from 2 feet. I think a 3-putt from 2 feet has happened 3 times in the last 20,000 putts from 2 feet. That was the first shot. So in the last 20,000 times, a guy was putting for 2 feet on his first putt. This was the 3rd time he got a 3-putt in that history since I think 2005 for Rory.
He blew that one for sure. Good for Tommy Fleetwood though. Love to see that too. That was
7th win on the DP World Tour. I mean, you can say what you want about him not winning here. He doesn't. But he has more wins than Ricky Fowler does PGA Tour wins. So he has more DP World Tour. They're sort of very similar. Those guys.
Poor Ricky just lumped into everything.
Ricky has 6 wins on the PGA Tour, and Fleetwood has 7 on the DP World Tour. And there were some people in that event too. But yeah, so I was sweating the cash. My guys all made the cash. I ended up, fucking Eric Cole again. Eric Cole's amazing to me. Like I've been talking about this here recently, but like the thing is, like he has no like type of course that he's good at. He's like good at all of them. It's so rare seeing that from like a non-elite player, right? Usually when you get down into the rankings, you would think, even though he is like the 13th ranked player in the world by data golf right now. But you don't think of him like that. You think, top 50 player underneath top 50. Most of those guys, they have like a specific type of course that they're normally really good at. And when they go there, they play well. That's how they keep their card every year. Stuff like that, right? Well, if you look at all of Cole's finishes, like Birdie Fest at Kapalua, Birdie Fest at Sea Island, top 15s there, top 5 at Sea Island, grinds at Oakdale in Canada, PGA National runner-up, 2 tough-ass courses where you got to grind to make par a lot of the times. And then, Bomber's Paradise courses where, he's not the longest guy in the field, but Bomber's Paradise in Mexico, where it was just hit the ball as far as you fucking can off the tee. Same in Japan. Again, like top 15, top 5 finishes in those events. Like the guy is just good at every type of golf all around. I mean, if one part of his game isn't working, something else picks up. I'm going to play him in cash basically every week till he misses a cut. I have to. After all this shit that I talked about Eric Cole and not believing in him last year, I'm going full on board with Mr. Cole and his hot mom. And I'm going to go ahead and use him fucking every week in cash. Every week in cash. He is just pencil him in as one of my cash game cornerstones until he's like, $10,000 or until he misses a cut. So you can lock that in. Again, I thought the event was fun. I thought it was a good watch. I thought the cut sweat was great. I thought the ending was amazing. Felt like a real event. Even if there weren't that many big guys, big names out there. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It makes me not worry as much. I'm just worried about the elevated events. I think,
and then you get this week though. You get the big names back in the mix, but it's a pre-round no cut till it becomes a cut after 3. So we'll see. Now we get the best of all worlds to see how you handle this.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm worried about the elevated events. I really am. I don't think they have enough much pop because the stars just aren't there. In these type of regular full field PGA events, you're getting what you normally got on a regular week of the PGA Tour in the past 10, 15, 20 years. That's what I want really for that, except, because you're going to get some of the good players and you're going to get everyone else grinding. You're going to get some of these good players and this week's, weird. Like so many people are playing this event that are pretty highly ranked. It's just strange because usually this is like one of the worst fields of the year, and so everyone's deciding to come here and play. That's a good sign for the PGA Tour. Because you would think like a lot of these big guys are just going to play the elevated events or like the majors that gives them 14 events and then play like a couple of others and that's it. Maybe these guys are trying to get out there, fill the field a little bit more, better for the viewing, better for us fans. I thought this past week was a fun event, and I'm looking forward to this week.
Yeah, real quick, I can tidy things up before you go to the course and talk about this week. Just on Lister League, it was MLK Day today, so a lot of the staff was out. They said they'd get the link out tomorrow for us, so it will be posted out, but it will be bumped to 750 entries. Last week filled very quickly, so thank you guys all for that. The 500-man Lister League was filled up fast, so we're up to 750 this week. And then want to talk quickly, Kenny, about our Tournament of Champions contest winners. I know you're looking up the one. Obviously, nobody had Murray last week. We'll talk about that in a second for the comment winner, but the winners, first place, True 210, $300 cash, and a Ship It Nation PGA Season Pass. Reach out to me on X at Toe-Tag and Tambo. Second place was Clam Digger Ball, who I think won twice on the season and then ends up coming in second in the Tournament of Champions. That's pretty impressive.
That's solid work.
Yeah, really good at this stuff. So $200 cash and a monthly pass to Ship It Nation PGA product. Reach out to me, X at Toe-Tag and Tambo. And same for you. Bengals, 92.85, finishing up in third. $100 cash and the monthly pass. That was the three winners. Thank you guys for that. It was a great season. We've got some more ideas with this one. Like Kenny said, going to open up, last week he mentioned it, we're going to open up the field a little bit. And I think you have the winner from this past week.
I have the winner. So, last week, if you didn't listen, we started a new contest every week. You can go in, put the winner in the comment section of the YouTube page of our video, and put your X handle and your DK handle on there. If you pick the winner, I'll choose one of you to play in our 4-man to get a chance to play in the Tournament of Champions at the Sony in 2025 to get all those prizes that Tambo listed out, and maybe even more next year. So the winner this past week, no one picked Grayson Murray in the comment section. So I went ahead and picked randomly picked the guy who picked Benny On, who came in second. I know it hurt a lot with him not winning that event, still being 0 for that 4-footer hurt, of course. But we're going with Old Milwaukee 30. That will be his Twitter name, his X name, his DK handle is Timmy Cats. Timmy Cats. So I will be sending Timmy Cats an invitation for the 4-man, along with the winner of our Listener League, who was I can't pronounce it. D Elora.
Might just be D Delora.
I think I've seen him up here before. So he plays it pretty often. So it'll be D Delora and Timmy Cats against Tambo and I. D Delora is already in. He's the first winner of our Tournament of Champions, for first entrance into our Tournament of Champions for 2025 Sony Open. So congratulations. And our second guy is going to be Timmy Cats in the 4-man. Check your notifications on DK. So let's go over D Delora's lineup for this past week. He had 622 points. He had Russell Henley, who finished in fourth, 50% owned. I actually bet him live 35-1 on, I think, Friday. And I was a little bitter about that because he was in the lead, sort of choked it off with a bogey on 16 to sort of ruin his chances. D Delora also had Harris English, who finished top 10, 13% owned. Benny On finished second, of course, 23% owned. Keegan Bradley, 15% owned. Of course, he finished second as well. Adam Svensson, he finished at 20% owned, finished at 30th, and Emiliano Grillo, who had a quietly great round, good finish. He finished in 7th place. He was 5% owned. Tambo, what'd you think of the lineup?
A really nice weekend. You mentioned Grillo, 63-66 over the weekend, so very solid for him. I think this one was solid. It was won by roster construction. Like, if you look at it, a lot of guys were owned. You had Henley, English, and up was 13% and up, only Grillo at 5%, but the roster construction was sound because it was 1 9K only with 3 8K guys, which wasn't very common last week, even though they had a little bit of ownership spread out between them. You didn't see a lot of them all together like that. That allowed you to get away with a guy like Svensson at a higher ownership at 7,700. No Putnam chalk or other guys that were really up there. And then Grillo just sort of gave him the difference down low. So congrats to D Delora. I do like the lineup. A lot of other names up top too. True 10, 3rd and 4th. Won the Tournament of Champions with one of these lineups, and then came 3rd and 4th in this Lister League. Some Ship It Nation members, K. Brearden, B. Wald, A. Teal, the Julio Nation, lots of them up there. So again, big week over at the Nation. If you guys do want to get in, go to shipitnation.com, use that code Mayo to get 10% off. It's the last week for the introductory pricing. So good week for D. Delora over there. Solid win, 622. We'll see him in now, the 4-man this week.
All right, sounds good. So let's go to this week. The Aloha Swing is over. We're back on the continent of the United States, and we're in California for the old Bob Hope Classic. It's called the Amex now. Played on 3 courses. They went ahead and they kept the same rotation since 2016. It's going to be the Jack Nicklaus Tournament course at PGA West, 1 round there. La Quinta Country Club, 1 round there. And the Stadium course at PGA West, 2 rounds there if they make the cut. Now, I remember when they first started playing the Stadium course here, 1986, 1987, the golfers filled out a petition to eliminate the course from rotation because of how difficult it was. Nowadays, you see people shooting like 65, 64 on that course pretty routinely. Tells you about the skill level and also the equipment that has changed in the last 30, 40 years. But when this course first came out, they're like, nah, we ain't playing this shit no more. Fuck this shit. They're like, fuck Pete Dye. Fuck his positional type target golf. I just want to rip it and grip it. They signed motherfucking petitions. And the PGA Tour were like, fine, we won't play this course again until 2016 when they brought it back on for this 3-course rotation. A couple of trends before we get into the meat of the course. This is going to be from at the Fantasy Grind. So it's from his Twitter feed this morning. 13 of the last 14 winners played in one of the 2 Hawaii events. Of the past 11 winners, 7 played in the Sony Open. 5 out of 7 made the cut at the Sony Open. And 10 of the last 11 winners, hold on. 10 of the last 11 winners had played in this event at least one time before their win. All right, so let's get to the course this week. Actually, one more thing. This event is top of 65 in ties. The cut's going to be on Saturday, okay? So that makes it a little bit different. I'll ask Tambo what is strategy nuggets for that in a little bit after we go over the rest of the course. Also, the event is a pro-am. So you're looking at like 6-hour rounds. So, good for Cantley, bad for whoever plays quick nowadays. I don't know who's a quick play golfer nowadays. There might be a couple still left on tour. We'll see. But yeah, you're going to see some long-ass rounds. All right, so let's start off with the Jack Nicklaus Tournament course. PGA West, 7,200 yard, par 72, 4 par 3s, 4 par 5s, 10 par 4s. All the par 5s reachable by most golfers. You're going to have to kill the par 5s on all 3 courses, basically, to be able to be in contention this week. This course, the Jack Nicklaus Tournament course has hosted PGA Tour qualifying tournaments. 59 has been shot here in tournament play. It's not very difficult. Usually one of the top 10 easiest courses on tour. So that's the way it's going to be. I think the fairways are going to be average to large in width, with many bunkers and water in play off the tee on many holes. I don't think the rough is going to be too thick because, of course, it's going to be a pro-am. We don't want 8-hour rounds. My guess is tour officials are going to try and set up the course to avoid, these amateurs just taking forever on the course. The greens are going to be undulating, multi-tiered, and on the large side with bunkers and water surrounding most greens. Like the other 2 courses, the greens are dormant Bermuda grass, or the greens are dormant Bermuda with a Stimpmeter rating of around 11. It's dormant Bermuda, and so Poa Trivialis is going to be the main type of grass that's going to be on top. Not like Poa Nua. Poa Nua, not as bumpy, a lot smoother, a lot easier to putt on. Not as, Poa sort of tends to rotate with the sun, like wherever the sun's going, the grain's going to change for Poa. This one, not so much. So it should be a lot easier time to putt than these upcoming courses that we're going to see in California. Just the thing, if you go to Ron Klaus, PGA Splits 101 on his site, he goes over the top golfers putting on Poa Trivialis throughout their history. I'll give you the top 10. Let's go top 10 right now in their career. Taylor Montgomery, number 1. Sam Burns, number 2. Matt Kuchar, number 3. Chad Ramey, number 4. Nico Echeverria, number 5. Justin Suh, number 6. Chesson Hadley, number 7. JT Poston, number 8. Patrick Cantley, number 9. Vincent Whaley, number 10. And again, this is all on Ron Klaus's out on betsperts.com. Go check that out. Now let's go to bottom 10, just to make it fair. The worst 10 golfers in this field, putting on Polo Trivialis: David Lipsky, Joseph Bramlett, Lee Hodges, Jason Duffner, Tyler Duncan, which sucks because I really like him this week. Still going to use him. Cameron Champ, Ryan Brehm, Martin Laird, Doug Gim. The worst putter on Polo Trivialis in this field in 28 total rounds, Jason Day. So there you go. So make sure you check out Ron's site. It's pretty cool. Good stuff over there. So let's move on to La Quinta. La Quinta Country Club is a 7,000-yard par 72, 4 par 3s, 4 par 5s, 10 par 4s. All three courses are going to be like that. Par 5s reachable into. It's been, top 5 easiest course on tour every year, basically, that it's been played. Fairways, tree-lined, average at best in width, bunkers, water, local vegetation for wayward drives. Greens, average inside, size, trouble surrounding them. Easy course. Both of those courses, birdie fest. Iron play, birdie fest. That's what you need. Now, the stadium course, a little bit more difficult. When Pete Dye was told to build the course in 1985, he was told to make it the hardest course in the history of golf. I guess maybe at that time, it might have been. I don't know, because like I said earlier in the show, these old PGA Tour pros signed a petition to get this course off the tour because they said it was too hard. Now, it's not that difficult. Top half, easiest course on tour. It was a 10th easiest course in 2016, 20th easiest in 2017, 15th. It's been 15th. It rarely ever goes outside the top 20 in easiest courses on tour. Now I just went over the Bob Hope, went over the petition stuff. Let's move on. The par 72 Pete Dye course will be around 7,200 yards, 4 par 3s, 4 par 5s, 10 par 4s. Par 5s all much longer and more difficult than the other two courses. The par 5s here have been some of the most difficult to reach on tour in two. The fairways are average in size and gets narrow near the landing areas. The rough is light, but golfers will have to deal with bunkers, and a lot of water is in play on wayward drives and approaches. If golfers miss wildly off the tee and are able to avoid the water and bunkers, they're going to have to deal with dormant grass, which is similar to the rough, but less lush and a bit more patchy. The greens are small, with trouble all over the place. There are island greens, 200-yard carries over water on par 3s, and enormously deep bunkers. The greenside bunker on 16 is over 20 feet deep. If you remember a few years ago, Mickelson on Sunday hit it into that bunker on 16, and he had to get it up and down to really keep his chances to win. He couldn't do it, and so he ended up losing and not being able to catch the leaders on the last couple of holes. The last 3 holes on the course are tough. With the bunkers on 16, island green on 17. It's actually called Alcatraz, and a tough par 4 with water on 18. They're going to have to hit their spots, be accurate as possible on their approach shots to succeed at this course. One little gambling tidbit before we move on to Tambo. This course has a lot of high odds guys winning. Like, I think if you take away Rahm, the last 10 golfers other than Rahm, I think only one was under 100 to 1. I think maybe two were under 100 to 1. Everything else was 100 to 1. There's some 400 to 1s. There's some 500 to 1s up in here. The way this tournament is played with this type of, no weather, first off, usually. I haven't checked the weather forecast, but I mean, this is usually like, pristine conditions all the time. You're going to score lots of birdies. These birdie fests tend to bring people closer together, when it comes to skill level. Because all these guys are great. All these guys can make birdies. And we're on a birdie fest type course like this. Everything gets bunched together, and you see those random guys winning these types of events. So just remember that when you're doing your betting card. Tambo, what are you looking for in golfers today?
So you're saying there's a chance because your boy, Harrison Endicott, 400 to 1, off the alcohol, and came 22nd here last year already. So you're telling me this guy has a legit shot. He's big odds. You just mentioned that. That's all I'm hearing right now, Kenny, is it's an Endicott week. But no, I do think you went over it quite well. Obviously, a different situation here, the course rotation, the 3 guaranteed days. I will say when we get into it, the 3 guaranteed days is a bigger factor, right? You're getting a full extra day on courses you can score on. Well, people will say, yeah, but it's not a 4th day. I understand that. That is true. But sometimes you've seen guys on these last days not do anything crazy anyway. There was plenty of guys yesterday who on their 4th day did absolutely nothing, like 2 birdies, 3 bogeys, no streaks, no nothing. You do have the extra full day, though, to rack up a streak, eagles, whatever else it might be. So I definitely think it matters, when you're lineup construction here. We'll look at it when we get to it, how easy it is to get to. But stars and scrubs definitely in play. I think it'll be more common as the week goes on. Maybe right now at the start, people not as comfortable with it, but I definitely think it'll be popular. You mentioned the conditions, usually calm. Looks like it as of right now. It's earlier in the week, but of course, something to keep an eye on as the week goes on there. Good putters usually have found their way around here. You broke it down even by grass type as well as top 10 and bottom 10. So can't do much more on that. And then just obviously giving yourself opportunities, the different courses that they're on. Rotations, if weather does come into effect, could be a thing on Wednesday evening or something. But as of right now, nothing else that I'm seeing. It will become a bit of a game of just, who everybody else is on and trying to battle against it. Like we just saw with our Lister League winner. Sometimes it's not, like I always say, it's not who you play, it's how you play them. Sometimes that's more, sometimes that's easier to figure out than who to actually play just by the numbers and the stats and the models and all of that stuff. So I really like looking at it from a roster construction, especially while we're in the heart of the NFL playoffs here, Kenny. It's been the same sort of the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you know this or not, but last week, Svensson, Putnam, guys like that got up to big, big numbers in some of these tournaments. In King of the Desert, I know it's only 150 people, Svensson and Putnam were both over 50% owned. So again, people just taking the easiest plays, the easy way out. We're still seeing that happen quite a bit during the swing season, or during the early part of the season, much like the swing season.
I mean, but don't you think in like events with only like 150 people entries, it's probably, I mean, it's sort of like cash, right? So like, say you don't have him, right? If Andrew Putnam went off and won the event, and he was 60% owned, and you faded him, I mean, you're done. You can't even cash, right?
Yeah, but I'll fade that all day in golf, though. Like even on the main slate, we had Svensson got up to, Svensson was 20. Putnam 15, like it's just interesting. Obviously the higher, like you said, the smaller field made for that, but I'm saying like you're still seeing the condensed ownership in these other spots. So
like when I play cash, I mean, I don't mind high ownership, and sometimes I worry that if I don't have the high owned guy and he goes off, and we've seen some guys do that. I mean, Putnam would still finish top 10.
A little bit different though, like you would call that. So just the terminology on that,
because you're trying to be top 50. You're not trying to win the whole thing. Right. So
yeah, it wasn't top 50%. It was top 50 of 150. So it's more like a hybrid because it was 33%. I mean, I had a whole rant on that on the First Look show today that Degenerates 75 and I recorded. But to your point in cash, you're talking about a blocker. If you know a guy is going to be like 85% or 80% owned in cash, just play him and move on. Turn it into a 5 tournament because you're not going to gain that much, but you're done if he hits. So it's like you're not really getting a separation piece there. I'm saying more so in something like this week. I think we'll still see it spread out at maybe the top with like when there's, Scotty and Xander and Cantlay and Im and all these guys to choose from. I think it's more nowadays, especially when you get down to like 7 to 7,900. That was my angle of like, remember we've been saying it. The 7s are the new 6s. It used to be back in the day, the 6K range would have a double-digit chalk piece because everyone just knew that you get a value play in, fit whatever else you want, and you're good to go. At tournaments like this lately, what we're seeing is not just popular guys within a range like the Putnams and the Spencerns. Svensson, 20% last week. There was 35 guys in there you could play. And I know he came through and got the job done, but he also was a product of that made cut line. So now he could just go fire at pins. He almost missed the cut. That was 20% of lineups dead. And in the higher stakes, even more if it happens. I know it's if this, then that, but that was one point where you're seeing it more in the 7Ks and you're also seeing bunched ranges, which is what I was talking about there before, where like our Lister League winner, 3 8K guys versus most people were using 1 or less, even though they had ownership a little bit because it gets spread out. That range was not being utilized. Our Lister League winner picked up 3 guys from that range, which one included Keegan Bradley, another English. Poston was there somewhere maybe just above in the 9. Like it was a really good spot to make a change. I think Poston was in the 9Ks, but either way, you get what I'm saying. So got to keep that in mind when you're looking to. I'm looking more at roster construction than most other things within events like this early on in the season.
Well, that's why you're the GDP GOAT, my friend. So everyone listen to Tambo when it comes to that type of stuff. All right, let's get to these tiers. Let's start off in the 10K range. We got my boy, Sung Jizzle, coming off breaking a record, breaking the PGA Tour record, most birdies in a tour event. And we go all the way up to Scotty Chef. What you doing this week?
Yeah, it looks pretty clean cut to me. I don't know about, I love Sungjae. I think it's going to be the season of Sungjae. We talked about it, but with all that said, it looks like everybody's going to chase it. Usually, like if he was, I guess, I don't know. We'll see. Hard to say right now because I guess the only thing I say when I want to say when I say that is Tom Kim is 9,900. So what I was about to say with Sungjae is he's not even the best by pricing. He's 10-1. They didn't make him 9,900, but they made Tom. So maybe Tom pulls from him. But I do think the top is pretty clear cut. Like everyone will think it's Scotty and it's Cantlay. That's what I see up top. I'm not sure if you see anything different, but those guys, you mentioned Cantlay with the putter. That could be a thing too. But just in general, easy courses, etc. I guess Xander because of the third place here last year. But if you rack it up with Cantlay with 9th, 2nd, 9th, 26th, it's still to me longer and more popular. So I think that you could go Scotty, Cantlay, and then just wrap it up in that range for those guys.
Yeah, I'm playing Scotty. No doubt. I mean, the guy's just basically doing what he did last year. I said this last year. At some point in time, his putter's going to work. It might never work, but he's still going to be in the top 5, top 10. That's the way Scotty is. His tee to green is historically good at this moment in time, and I don't see it stopping. So I'm just going to go ahead and use him. I don't care. So give me Scotty. I haven't picked the second guy. I'm going to pick a second guy. There's Sungjae. I want to take your thing and maybe look at ownership a little bit more. And if Sungjae's going to be the highest owned in this, I might fade off him to Cantlay or Xander. It's not like those are bad choices to get off if you want to get off Sungjae. But I'm definitely going to play Scotty.
Xander better though.
Probably Cantlay.
Okay.
Probably Cantlay. I know, like you said, the way he putts here, like you said, he's really good at Poa Trivialis. I'd probably go him over Xander. It's only $100 difference.
Yeah, and Sungjae, well, at 10-1, like I said, maybe there is a squeeze there because people just decide Tom Kim is their guy or, down below or Cantlay or above. Again, then I'm very interested at that point. If you look at his history here, it's been very solid. It's just all top 12s to 18s. Like it's not anything big, but that you and I both know that's always just 1 or 2 putts or whatever it might be, a couple strokes here, couple strokes there from being in the top 5 for all those. And it would be a totally different story. So we'll wait and see how it shakes out as the week goes on. But I would have it Scotty, Cantlay, probably Sungjae, even though I think Xander would rate out better, but I just like Cantlay better than Xander. So that's kind of how I would see it up top.
All right, 9K range. My favorite play, Justin Thomas. I'm rocking the Ralph Lauren gear. Rest in peace for his Ralph Lauren stuff. For JT. But I'm betting him 22-1. He's probably going to be my highest owned at that price. It looks like he found his game at the end of the fall. Really good at the RSM Classic. He didn't have to play. He went out there, did his thing. He's been grinding. He's been working. He doesn't want the season he had last year, and it looks like he's playing himself out of it. I like Justin Thomas, my favorite GPP play in the board, betting him 22-1. Cash. I'm going to go with Sam Burns. I'm doing a little bit different this week. I'm trying to condense guys, guys who I think you can make a lot of birdies on this specific type of course. Not too worried about a cut. You know what I'm saying? Just because, I want them to make the cut, but I'm not exceptionally worried. Just got to be able to putt well and make a ton of birdies. And so I'm going to go with Sam Burns. Really good course history here. He putts well. He makes a ton of birdies. That's what I'm going for him. He had a pretty decent end of the season last year. A bunch of top 20s, done a bunch of top 15s. I'll go ahead, start with my first Cascade Cornerstone, Sam Burns. Next Cascade Cornerstone, going to be JT Poston at $9,100. Again, last week played exceptionally well. Sneaky good on the putter. Really good birdie or better percentage. Really good on shorter par fours. Like I think more than half of all the par fours are going to be between 350 and 450 yards. In this event, he's like top 10. From 350 to 400. He's playing back-to-back top 6s, and he's only $9,100. I'm going to use him in cash. I'm not going to overthink this. Just go ahead and give me that in cash. And shit, I'll go back to Chris Kirk at $9,000. The guy's just playing excellent golf. It's the year of the former alcoholics. So you just keep on going hard with that. And he's played this, I think, if I remember, I'm not quite sure about his course history here, but I'm not even worried about that. The guy is playing exceptional golf. I'll keep rostering him. So I like him a lot in GPPs. Tambo.
Yeah, third and 16th in 2 of the last 3 years for Kirk, and then obviously coming in off the win in the 18th place last week. It was just a bad Sunday. That's like the example earlier that I gave with Sungjae. That's kind of so interesting when you see it, when now you can realize it versus just numbers on paper. You see it from last week. Look at the week last week. Chris Kirk was dialed in for those first 3 days. It was just a bad Sunday, and now it shows up as an 18th on paper. But he was right in the mix. His stats looked good. I remember, thinking of playing him in round. I was using him in round 4, even at a ridiculous price of 10-2 in that session. So, I see stuff like that. It just makes me wonder, people go off of him here because we got Eric Cole coming up in this next range and Siwoo and other stuff. But yeah, I like your Kirk call.
I mean, he was first in strokes gain approach and first in strokes gain ball striking last week.
Yeah. So he's still dialed in. You're riding the wave still. So I definitely got no problem with that. One you didn't mention, Min-Woo Lee, he was grinding all swing season and all off season, whatever you want to call it, like 6th, 1st, 3rd, 15. He won a tournament. Like, everything has been going his way. And 9,500, I don't think anyone really wants to get to him too much here, at least on early look. I like your Justin Thomas call. I don't know if I'm as high on Tom Kim as everybody else, like starting the day. Bet him at 28-1 or whatever. Everyone was interested in that. I kind of liked hopping on there. That number was decent, but I'm not sure as much for here when there's all these other options. I do think like Jason Day, Burns, Tony Finau, Ricky Fowler, a lot of these guys are going to go overlooked. So we'll see where ownership shakes out as the end of the week.
I've seen a lot of day love today. I don't know where it's from. He hasn't really played this course very well. I'm trying to look at. Did he play last week? I don't remember. He didn't play last week, right?
At 10th. No,
did he?
Last week, the week before though.
Yeah, the Century. Yeah. So I don't know. I think Bamford bet him, which makes me scared of fading him. But I don't know. I just don't feel it right now.
Yeah, I wasn't seeing it either. So I'm with you on a lot of the same guys. Would add Min-Woo Lee as just another guy you could take a flyer on in tournaments. I like your Kirk call. We'll see if people actually go there. But the next range in this 8K range, it's a smaller range, I feel like. It's only 10 guys, and it includes Berger making his return at 8K. So I'll let you take over. But, I mean, Berger's in there. And then Wyndham Clark, it's almost confirmed now. It came out. Obviously, he was rumored to live for quite a while, but it looks like Wyndham Clark is going to be joining John Rahm's team over there. So that's interesting. But Eric Cole, like you said.
I think if you win a major, you should probably just go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you win a major, you should probably go to live.
And you might be coming back soon anyway.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, if you win a major, Brian Harmon, I don't know if they want him, but like, if you win a major and you're just like a middle class player, really good, but sort of in the middle, like Wyndham Clark is, I'd bounce. Give me like the 50 million, whatever that they're going to give me. I'll play and live for a couple of years until the forces join back together and I can go back on the PGA Tour with no problem. And I get to play all the majors for the next 5 years, right? Isn't that how it works for the U.S. Open? Don't you get to play every major for the next 5 years?
Yeah, he's set up already. That's why I'm assuming he literally just told his agent or whoever it is, call them back up and tell them now I'm interested.
I'm in. Yeah. John didn't get that much flack. Everyone's calling John smart for going. I mean, fuck it. Now's the time to go. Bounce. Get that money and then come back later with the bag. You know what I'm saying? And then do your thing for the rest of your career. You ain't got to worry. That's what I would do. But anyways, I like, again, I'm going to Eric Cole, third cash game cornerstone. Again, putts his ass off, makes a shit ton of birdies. I think he's like second in putting, or third in putting in the field, first in birdies. I'm going to roster Eric Cole every single week. Every week he plays in cash. He's just a permanent cash lineup, Eric Cole, until he misses the cut. And we're going to see how long it rides. We'll see it. If I'm still rostering him in like April, May, he's having a pretty fucking good season, is what I'll say. Because I'm going to keep rostering him till he folds. I like this range, man. I know a lot of guys. My final cash game cornerstone is here, and he might be one of my favorite plays also. Mr. Taylor Montgomery. I know this is sort of his time, like the fall, early January. He was, I think, second in strokes gain approach last week behind Chris Kirk. Like, everyone knows him as a putter. Like a guy who put his fucking ass off. Last week, iron game. Strong iron game. His putting wasn't great. I think I gave 0.06 or something like that. Putted last week. I could have finished a lot higher than he did. He's also the best putter in Poetry Realis in this field. Give me Taylor Montgomery. Give me 50-1. Awesome. I think he can get his first win at an event like this. So 4 cash game cornerstones this week they're all bunched together. It's going to be Sam Burns, 9,400, JT Poston, 9,100, Eric Cole, 8,800, Taylor Montgomery, 8,100. Leaves you like 14-6, 14-7 to finish out the rest of your lineup. Other guys I like Siwoo, former winner here. Again, tee to green game is great. His putting is the worst, but he's won here, so we know he could ball. And I'll probably go back to Putnam. I mean, it depends. If his ownership is really inflated at 8,000 because of his top 10 finish last week, I don't know if I'll go. We'll see. But like the guy's been playing really good golf. 8,000 seems like a legit price for a guy the way he's playing. I got no problem with that. Who do you like in this range?
Yeah, a couple guys the same. Eric Cole, Siwoo, Pop right off the top. Those are guys for sure. Hadwin, really good setup here.
Course history.
Yeah, well, I mean that, but even like before last week, whatever. One event before 14th, and then his stuff that he's got here, all the stats set up well.
Yeah, I like him.
I'm fine with just playing him.
What's up with Canadians and desert golf? Why are Canadians so good at fucking desert golf when they live in the goddamn snow?
Because that's where they got to practice half the year.
Okay.
Right? You get 6 months of golf, you got to go down there to play, so you get all the practice in on all these places. So it's like, makes perfect sense to me. That's a guy you could go to here that maybe gets overlooked by some of the stuff of the what have you done for me lately guys, where technically he's coming off a missed cut, but all these other guys you can make a better case for. I don't know what to do with like Cam Davis, Akshay, those guys, but Taylor Montgomery was interesting. I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to bring it up too. He had the good putter going in round 1, good putter going in round 4. He found it again with the ball striking paired up. He had good ball striking 3 of the 4 rounds. Lost the putter for Friday and Saturday. Lost a stroke on Friday. Lost 2 strokes with the putter on Saturday. But he kept the ball striking throughout. And then on Sunday, he put them both together. So I do like
that. Tells you how good of a putter he is, because he lost 3 strokes in those 2 rounds in the middle and still gained strokes for the week.
Yeah, I think it was he gained 2.5 on day 1. That's why. And then obviously on last day.
The guy can put his ass off. I think he can win this week. I think he can win this week.
Yeah.
I like the 50-1 number. I'm going with them. I think this guy gets his first win.
Yeah, I think Putnam will pick up steam as the week goes on too. I'll have to see how that one works. But mostly those guys up above, Cole, Siwoo, Hadwin, Montgomery with you. And then are you going to do anything with Berger, or are you going to just play wait and see?
No. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to play wait and see after what happened to Willie Z last week. It's sort of going to be like a recency bias thing. Now, this could be the time to actually go ahead and roster a little Berger if he's going to be 2%. 3%. You think he's going to be that low? Because, people, recency bias is the real thing. And you saw Willie Z last week struggle. Couldn't make the cut, finished 8 over. And the thing about Willie is, like, he's played a couple of events, before the injury. He played Hero, so he's had some work in, and he still struggles that bad. And you got Berger coming off. Now, he was supposed to play during the fall, but took that time off again. And now it's just going to be his first event in almost a year. I don't know.
Healthy by now.
Do you think that risk is worth it? Like if he's 2 or 3% owned, if you go 10% on his ass.
Yeah. I will say this. One thing about Willie Z, like the hard thing that people were giving, I was all for it. I still played some. I posted it on X and showed that he'd been fine. Like it was whatever. My point about that was, because we're going to get to him in a second anyway at 7,900. But my point now about that, I guess, would be like Berger's situation. Maybe this is a better type of event to come back at. Right? Like you're coming back, you get 3 guaranteed rounds. It's just nonchalant, just go out, you can score. It's easier. Like everything sets up for that. I know last week is pretty easy too, but I mean more of the setup of you're not worrying about the cut line, all that. I just don't think, I was with the side of Twitter that was not worried about Zalatoris being scared of a cut line. Like if he misses
I was worried about Zalatoris because of shooting fucking 80 at the Hero.
Yeah, he had 2 bad rounds, 2 good rounds there. So that's all I was saying. Like I'm not against,
but his bad round is 80.
Not going to be owned. I like
one bad round like that, you're donezo, in these birdie fests. Now it wasn't that.
What I would say about what I was just saying is at least if he popped that 81 in one of the first 2 rounds, like he had just done, went bad round, good round, bad round, good round at the Hero. You can't get away with that with a two round before the cut. With Berger here, he could do, who knows? It's 3 days that he's getting to play for sure, though, is what we do know. So, yeah, it makes it a little tricky, but maybe for some tournaments you could do it, but not super high up on my list. I was just more curious your takes on that. He has played here in the past, couple decent finishes, but way different time when he was all over things, good, all that. I don't know what he's going to be like this week, so I can't really speak on it too much.
All right, let's go into the 10K, the 7K range. Tambo, go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, upper 7K range, some of the same guys that I always play, like Jaeger, Hostler can get hot with the putter. We know that. Pendrith, I talked about him last week, liked him. He came through again. Another Taylor Montgomery, Taylor Pendrith, Nick Taylor, all these guys were fine. Keith Mitchell pops here a little bit. I don't mind him. Shank, and then maybe go down from there to Nick Taylor again, but I don't have a ton of other guys in this range. That's just the early stuff, the guys I like. I don't know, Zalatoris, are people now going to jump on that he got cheaper, or are they going to stay off because he was bad? What do you think?
Probably stay off. Yeah. I don't know. I can't trust him. Now, one person I am going to trust this week, I talked a lot of shit about him last week. I'm going to play a little Steven Jaeger this week. $7,900 is different, okay? You can finish 15th place.
But you know what he did that?
That's solid. That's good.
He was 8,100 and did
200, and you've never got a top 5 ever. No.
How much was he last week? 8,100.
I don't know. I don't remember.
That was the whole point. So anyway, back to that. I want to bring this up because you did. Now, 8,100 last week, and you talk shit about him when he's 9,200, but he wasn't 9,200 was my point.
Last week.
And he comes top 20 and gets 18th. Now, he wasn't showing up on any winning lineups. I'm going to say he just did what Steven Jaeger does. That's what he does.
I'm thinking about using him in cash.
7,900.
That's $7,900. I'm thinking about using him in cash. You're right. The motherfucker makes cuts. His floor looks pretty high, right? And that's sort of what you want in cash, right? Yeah. You want a high floor. It's a lot harder to get a high floor golfer in golf and try and pick that because of volatility. But in my opinion, you're right. The dude has a high floor. He makes a lot of cuts. His big thing is, par 5 scoring is so huge at this event. And he is the best par 5 scorer in this field in the last 50 rounds. So I'll go back to him. If you want, he could be my 5th cash game cornerstone. All right. Right there. But other guys are doing Aaron Rai. Again, really good from those short par 5, par 4 distances. From 350 to 450 yards. He is excellent. Also, really good on the par 5s. Again, I like Aaron Rai a lot this week. Another guy in this 7K range. Davis Thompson, former winner. Did he win last year? Who won? I know he's won this event before.
No, Davis Thompson, I think, came second to Rahm, right?
Oh, it was second. Okay. I know he's played well here. So that's someone to look at. Adam Shank. I like him at 7,600. Well above average iron player. You look at his 400 to 450 yards. He's solid, better than average from par 5s. He gets a fair amount of birdies, good putter, approach game solid. I like Adam Shank, and I like Nick Taylor again. Back, I think Taylor was 3rd in strokes gained approach last week at the Sony, and he also has the desert golf thing, and the Canadians. He's got that thing going for him, so I like him. What about the bottom 7K range, Tamo?
I'm just looking up Nick Taylor again. Yeah, pretty solid weekend too. Like round 2, round 3 really dialed in, and then round 4 pretty solid across the board. So it wasn't like he lost anything there. So yeah, he's interesting at his price tag as well. He is just 7,500. The bottom, little bit dicier. Like I don't have a lot of standout plays here. I guess that's going to be the case. So basically, I'll tell you this right now. I got to really look into this roster construction because of stars and scrubs, like we talked about off the top. Usually it's like, okay, this is your landing zone. I'll tell you what, I don't love this zone. I also don't love the 6Ks. There's like nothing in the 6Ks that I really like this week. So it's going to be tricky to see how it goes, but I don't think a balanced build is as solid this week when you are getting 3 full rounds. So I have to really think about it here. But some of the guys that popped off the board early, just going down to this bottom range, were Sam Ryder, Austin Eckroat, Ben Griffin. Who else down here? There was another guy too. Smalley popped. Cheston
I like Smalley a lot. How rare is this for Smalley? I like Smalley a lot. To be first in strokes gained tee to green and missed a cut.
Yeah, pretty rare.
He was first in strokes gained tee to green last week, Alex Smalley, and he missed the cut by a lot.
Where was he at on your putter list, though? Because I was just going to say, Adley popped up on your putter list. He's 7,100 and has showed up. Who was...
Smalley lost almost 3 strokes per round. So this is per round. So he lost like 6 strokes, buddy, in 2 rounds. Gained 5 strokes tee to green.
Okay, I was on your POA list. I was wondering what he popped up as.
Oh, on the POA list? Did I say his name?
No, you said Hadley's name. Hadley actually pops here too. He looks.
Well, Hadley is one of the worst.
Oh, was he?
Wait, hold on,
I thought he was the opposite. You're right. Probably bad history.
No, he's one of the best. One of the best.
He's actually been horrible here, but he's been playing really good at these easier courses than the other ones that set up well.
That's why I was going to play Justin Suh. Justin Suh is like 6 on Polo Trivialis putting in this field. What is he, like $7,400?
Yeah.
Again, another guy, if you're looking for a lot of what I'm looking at this week, par 5, he's not great. I'll give him that. But lots of DK points, great putter, and lots of birdies. $7,400. You could do worse. Who else do you? I'm sorry, I cut you off. What else do you like in this lower 7K range?
No, not many more. That's why I flipped it over to you. There wasn't anybody else really besides those guys that I mentioned right now.
Smalley, Pavon. He was in the top 10 there last week. Really good approach numbers last week, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was top 10, top 12 with his irons, top 10 with his irons last week. Sam Ryder played this course pretty well in his past. He had a really, really strong fall. I'm hoping he hasn't played since the fall, but I'm hoping he has like that momentum coming back for this event that he's played decently at in the past. So I do like him at $7,200. That looks like it's about it. Let's move on to the 6K range. So Alejandro Tosti, this guy, I did not know his game. Like, I guess he's been like kicked off, like the suspended from the Korn Ferry Tour multiple times, been suspended from multiple tours many times. Like, he talks a lot of shit. Like if people are like slow playing in front of him. I remember one story was like he was playing his Korn Ferry Tour event, and throughout the whole time it was like a par 3. The group in front had let the other guys hit just to do speed the course up to fire up the pace of play. And in the final round of this event, like I guess the guys in front of Toasty didn't do that. And he was just talking, yelling at them from the fucking tee, yelling at them from the tee box, like talking shit and like kicking his fucking clubs. This guy is crazy. And I want to see more of him play because supposedly, like we've seen him a few times, this guy's got talent. Like he's a talented motherfucker. He's got skills. He could be very, very good. But like, how people gave like Rahm and Hatton shit for like the way they play. They ain't got nothing on this dude. They got nothing on this dude. Go to Monday Q, the Monday qualifier. Well, I forget his Twitter name, but Monday Q, the Twitter guy on X. Read his story on Alejandro Tosti. It's crazy. Like you don't hear like golfers do the shit that he does. Like he just talks mad shit to people all the fucking time. Talks shit to volunteers. Talks shit to like rules officials. Just don't give a fuck. Never seen a golfer like this in my life. So I'm definitely going to be watching his career as he has his card now and he's on the PGA Tour. He had a hell of a Korn Ferry Tour season last year to get his card. I'm not saying I don't know if I'm going to roster him, but I'm definitely going to pay attention to this dude and see what happens to him. Other guys I do actually like down here. Tyler Duncan. Again, a guy who was played decent, really strong finish in the fall. I think he was top 5 at the RSM Classic. He's made a bunch of cuts here. Like he's made the cut here a couple of times, like 2 out of 3 times. He's a guy that I'll play. Joel Domin was a top 5 in approach again last week. It looks like you're right. I know you told me I said I wasn't going to play him because his game looked like shit, and you said no, his game has been looking better. I agree with you now. His game is looking better. I think it's
he lost heavy with that putter on round 4, but the rest of his game was pretty solid.
Looked really good. So at 6,600, I'll definitely play him. Troy Merritt seems to play this course well. Zach Blair, another guy with a solid tee to green week last week. Again, going with a little bit of momentum, trying to get that ball striking going again at a course like this. And this is the type of course you can see crazy winners. Zach Blair could be someone to think of. And of course, you got into 6,300, 6,200. Our guy for the week, our rehabbing alcoholic bet pick of the week, Harrison Endicott at $6,200. Damn him.
Down there by him, Kevin Yu is there. He can make birdies in bunches, 3 full days at 6,300. I think is interesting. Who else did I have here? Ramey, who you talked about earlier. Neesmith, who I always like. Scott Stallings can show up in places like this. You mentioned Tyler Duncan.
I don't even see
Baroff.
How much is Stallings?
How much is he? He's 6,700.
I don't even see him in the field. I definitely gonna play him.
This guy, Jake Knapp, is someone that Baroff keeps selling me on. It did not come through. He was in the mix for like the first round for a little bit, and that was it. But he's at 6,800. Crazy Carl is 6,900. Will Gordon can make birdies at 6,900, and Vince Whaley can make birdies at 6,900. Those are sort of the guys I was early looks. But like I said, I'm not going to get to all of them. I just think that those are some of the interesting ones that stood out, but don't have any. Like I said, that's the problem for this week that I have to go look at. And I wonder if maybe
what do you think of Davis Riley down here? Like,
how much is he?
66. You know, he was sort of like a budding star, DFS darling last year. His game's good. He's gone all the way down to 6,600 this week.
What are we seeing from him? I was just trying to look him up. Missed the cut last week. Wow, really bad week for him there. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. He just hasn't been playing good golf.
Yeah, no top 20.
Missed cut, 52nd, 45th, missed cut.
Last year's Valspar.
Here he played, finished like 60, like just has really nothing going in his favor. You'd be betting him maybe. Maybe he's the guy you could bet.
Yeah, out of the blue. I mean, maybe he's resting on his laurels because he didn't win the Zurich team event last year and got his card for 2.5 years. And since that event, he's sort of been ass.
Yeah, that was him and Nick Hardy, or who was that again?
Something like that. Yeah, but like they've sort of been ass since then. So maybe he's just resting on his laurels. He's like, I got my card for 2.5 years. I'm going to chill. Maybe. I don't know.
It was Nick Hardy. I was right. I couldn't remember my other boy. I don't know. I don't see it here, but maybe. I don't have anybody else though down in this range.
All right. Let's go to bets. I have Sam. Why don't you go ahead first while I pull mine up?
Yeah, I just got 2 so far. Again, I got JT 22, Tom at 28, Tom Kim. And we'll see where I go from there. Any long shots or anything else I have, I'll post over in the Ship It Nation Discord. But again, last week got the each way on Keegan. It was nice. It's early in the season. We'll take that. But and got the King of the Desert seat through. But really haven't been doing as much with that. I got a lot going on with DFS, with the new company, all of these things. And then also for one and done, I switched from Siwoo Kim to Eric Cole last week is what I ended up going with. And Eric Cole got like a T13. So again, probably wasted his win. Or maybe he falls off the map now. Who knows? And I took the last one from him, but he did better than Siwoo. So I'll take that. This week I might go Sung Jae and just hope it's the normal top 20 for him and maybe a little bit more this time around. Maybe that's where I go.
All right. So I got JT at 22-1. I got Poston at 33-1. I got Montgomery at 50-1. Putnam 60-1. Sam Ryder, 150-1. Harrison Endicott, 400-1. All with 5 places, except for JT. JT is just outright. Everything else is 5 places. My one and done's probably going to be Taylor Montgomery. I'm really, really high on him this week. If I change my mind, it might be Justin Thomas. All right. Anything else, Tambo?
Nope. I think that's it.
All right, you can find me on Twitter at KendoVT. You can also find my article on gupscorner.com. Use promo code Kenny. Save yourself 30% on a membership to Gups Corner. Also, remember to go ahead and leave your winning pick down in the comments of the YouTube section to have a chance at our 4-man and our Tournament of Champions in 2025. Tambo.
Yeah, again, all those that won, reach out to me on X at Toe Tag and Tambo. The tidbits are now up. They started last week. Got them out there, I think, 150K views or something. So I appreciate everyone that did support that thread. Obviously, I want you to help me out if you can repost it out, if you can like it, and then comment. Let me know your favorite tidbit is. If you have somebody else out there that you follow their article weekly that it's free, that I can go and pull from and look at it. I have trying to bring some new people into it this season. So definitely hit me up if you got anything on that. Those will be posted on X every Wednesday morning at around 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Eastern time. So check that out. And then, of course, shipitnation.com. Use promo code Mayo to get 10% off. Projections, ownership, the rankings. The CourseFit rankings have been on fire. Our guy Lee, formerly of Fanshare, is incredible. He hit the Chris Kirk winner. He's had the CourseFit rankings just dialed right in. We used those last week to our advantage. Another big week. You could check out Ship It Nation on X as well. Just go to the pinned version up there. That post has all the winners from last week, and there's more within the Discord, so check it out over there. Promo code Mayo for 10% off the introductory pricing.
All right, should be a fun week. The field looks strong. Let's win some motherfucking money. DJ Nation. Yo, my hair looks all right like this, X. Sort of like it.